For thousands of years, humans suffered from the torment of smallpox. The virus killed around 30% of its victims within the first 2 weeks of infection, attacking skin cells, lymph nodes, and bone marrow. The unlucky developed fevers, vomiting, and rashes, and survivors were left horribly scarred and pockmarked. Smallpox infected the Egyptians, whose prisoners passed it on to the Hittites. With the Crusades, it infected the Arab world, and later arrived to the Americas with the Spanish and Portuguese conquests. Since then, it has gone on to kill hundreds of millions of people. But smallpox wasn't unbeatable. In fact, there hasn't been a single case of smallpox since 1978. And more interestingly, the fall of smallpox started long before modern medicine.
Before modern vaccines existed, the main form of immunization was variolation. This developed in two forms. The first method was insufflation. First recorded in China during the 10th century, people would grind up smallpox scabs and blow the powder into the nostrils of a healthy person. Insufflation led to milder symptoms but still carried the risk of death. Eventually, insufflation evolved into a practice called inoculation. In this process, doctors took material from the sores of smallpox patients and put them into healthy people through scratches. This worked, and inoculated people wouldn't get reinfected, but around 3% would still die after exposure to the pus.
A breakthrough was made when Edward Jenner, now often called the father of immunology, noticed that milkmaids who had gotten cowpox gained immunity to smallpox. To test his hypothesis, he took material from a cowpox sore on milkmaid Farah Nelms' hand and inoculated it into a child named James Phipps in 1796. Jenner's experiment succeeded, and James Phipps, after exposure to cowpox, became immune to smallpox. After testing on other people, Jenner subsequently developed the first smallpox vaccine. Vaccination, unlike variolation, didn't use the actual smallpox virus and instead achieved immunity through the far less dangerous cowpox. The development of vaccines has progressed rapidly since then, and a combination of universal childhood immunization programs, mass vaccination, and surveillance and containment has led to the elimination of the virus. Eventually, it was eradicated by 1952 in North America, 1953 in Europe, 1971 in South America, 1975 in Asia, and 1977 in Africa.
Now, only two groups of people received the smallpox vaccine. The first are those exposed to monkeypox, another orthopox virus. In 2003, in order to control an outbreak of monkeypox, over 24 people were administered the FDA-approved smallpox vaccine, Jynneos. It contains a less harmful poxvirus strain that is similar to smallpox. The second group are workers at two government-run high-security laboratories that still keep the smallpox virus, variola, in their freezers for experimental use. If an outbreak of smallpox were to happen, Dr. Nekijah from Boston University says that even one case would be a public health emergency, and so we need to maintain readiness. But reemergence of smallpox is highly unlikely, thanks to James Phipps, Dr. Edward Jenner, and the collaboration.